Hello everyone and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Rachel Klein and I will be your presenter for the next 20 minutes. Today we are going to be looking into cleaning up duplicates. So a lot of times in the Church Windows program there are instances where the same person actually gets entered more than once. Sometimes they get entered twice, sometimes in today's example they get entered 4 times. So it happens, especially if you have a lot of people that use your program. Someone can think someone hasn't been entered yet, so this other person comes in and plugs them in. So it's okay. There is steps you can take to clean them out of there. Best case scenario is you only have that one person in there, so everything for that individual is kept in the same place on the same record. So today's webinar is going to be taking place in version 20.17.2. This is our most current version of the program we have available right now. If you're not up to version 20, you can call our support line or put an email into support@churchwindows.com and we'll be able to forward that on to you as long as you're on our support. Also, if you look to the right on your GoToWebinar toolbar, couple things over here. There is a place for you to ask questions. Jennifer's in here with me. She's happy to answer any questions you might have that you type in to the question section. Please try to keep your questions topical. If you have like a really tricky duplicate situation that you're working on, just call us. That's going to be the best way for a tech to help you clean that up. But if you have some general questions about cleaning up duplicates or where to look for someone, or I'm not clear on something, please put that in the question section and Jen can get you a response that way. Or at the end of the webinar, I'm going to try to leave some time where I can read aloud some questions and answer them if I think other people might be wondering the same thing. You also have a handouts section on the GoToWebinar toolbar. We have revamped the handling duplicates document that we've had in the past. So we've updated it so it's in version 20 and we've kind of reworded some things, changed the flow a little bit. So if you want a document to follow along with what I'm showing you today, it's under handouts, it's a PDF, you can click on it and get your hands on that. It's also out on our website at churchwindows.com. In the search, just type in duplicates and you'll be able to find this new document. As always, this webinar is going to be recorded. So usually by end of week, it might be next week, this is going to replace the old one out on the website. This webinar will. So if you want to rewatch this or rewind, catch on, or rewatch something, catch something you might have missed, head out to churchwindows.com. You can get all this good stuff out there. Okay, let's jump into the topic here. I'm going to go ahead and open up donations, and I want to show you the best screen you're going to be able to go to figure out your duplicates. So for me, it's really important anytime I'm helping someone over the phone is to have them go into donations and have them open up Manage Givers. Manage Givers is going to show you everybody that you have entered into the program, okay? It's going to show you people that have been entered through the membership side, whatever category they are, and it's also going to show you people that have been entered into the donation side. So it's really important if you're going to start working with duplicates to come in here first to try to kind of figure out how many versions of them you have and which one is the good one you're going to keep, okay? That's really your first step in duplicate cleanup. So in the document and in today's example that we're following, it has to do with someone named James Kildare. He's right here. If you can see, there's actually 4 versions of him that I put in here for our example. The good versions of James, so this is going to be the thing you want to do first, is figure out which is the good one or the one that you're going to keep. So we're going to go with James with number 78, okay? This is the one we're going to make sure all the giving is on, all the pledging is on, the number is correct, and then we're going to move giving off these other ones, check on any pledging, and also get rid of numbers, and then we're going to terminate them so they don't keep popping up, okay? So as we look, we see a version of James here with number 78. Then we have another James with no number. Now we have a James with number 13, but this one has a V after their last name. That tells us that this one is from membership, but it's a visitor, okay? So it has a visitor category. The one down here has a D after their last name, and also this little checkbox in the donations giver column. This tells us this individual is from donations. So this version of James does not appear over in membership. It was entered through the donations module, okay? So these other ones, the one with the V and the ones that don't have a letter, these are members, okay? So we are going to have to go over into the membership side of Church Windows to clear these out. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is go over to membership and find these ones. We're going to terminate the duplicates, and then once those are terminated, then we're going to look at transferring the giving and fixing up the number. Okay, so let's jump over into membership here. Now this is the new membership screen. If you haven't seen 20 yet, this is what it looks like. But I'm going to do a find. So what I want to find is everybody I have in membership that has the last name of Kildare. So I can find all these versions of James that I need to clean up. So I'm going to hit the find button. It's going to pull me into my find criteria screen. Top left where it says select a membership field, I'm looking for last name. Here it is. I'm going to choose contains, and then I'm going to type in Kildare. Oops. I'm going to add this selection, and then I'm just going to hit find. So this is going to pull up anybody I have in membership that matches that last name or that contains the word Kildare. So here are my 3 versions of James, okay? You can use your scroll bar over here at the bottom to look further over to the right if you want to see address. I want to see address scooted over here a little bit more. I'm just going to click the column header and scooch it over. So as we see, we have a James Kildare in membership. We have another James Kildare who's also a member, and then we have a third James who's a visitor, okay? Now let's go look at this one first, 123 Wilcox Avenue. So I'm simply going to check this box here to select him, and then I'm going to come up to the top and hit go to record. This is going to take me right to this version of James's record in membership, okay? Now I want to keep the James with number 78, so I want to make sure that this version of James does not have a number, so I'm going to find my giver number field, and as you can see, it's empty. So this is one of the Jameses I'm going to get rid of, okay? So to remove him from appearing in the future, I'm looking for my inactive box. It's right here. So in version 20, it used to be called reason for termination. The programmers have since renamed it to the words inactive, okay? So once we mark him as inactive, it's going to hide him from popping up anymore for us to accidentally put giving on or anything like that. I'm going to check his inactive box, and then I'm going to give him a reason. So these used to be called your reason for termination. Now it's called your inactive reason, but the codes are the same as they always were in prior versions. And I'm going to choose duplicate record. If for some reason you don't have the code of duplicate record, you can come over here to the pencil and you can make a duplicate record code. It's a good idea to have one of these because duplicates are inevitable, unfortunately. Okay, then you have your date. This is your inactive date. It's automatically going to pop in today's date, so I don't have to change anything there. Then I'm going to come up and hit save. All right. Next thing I'm going to do is come up here and hit my grid button again. This is going to take me back to the screen that I was just working on. And now here's my good version of James. We're not going to change anything with this one because this one is the one that I'm keeping with my giver number of 78. And then I'm going to come here and check my visitor version of James. And I'm going to go to this record so I can terminate this one as well. Okay. As you can see, there is a giver number 13. I will show you in a minute how to clear that number out so you can reassign that to someone else. But same thing, we're going to come in here, check the inactive box. We're going to assign duplicate record as the reason, and in pops my inactive date. Exactly what I want. Okay? And we're going to hit save again. So that takes care of cleaning up 2 of my duplicate records of James. Okay, so now they're red. They're going to be hidden from me in the donations module, so I won't accidentally put giving on them anymore. Now I'm going to close out of membership, and we're going to jump back into donations. So we're still in Manage Givers. I'm going to close out and reopen Manage Givers to give it the opportunity to refresh here. So as you can see, I only have 2 versions of James now. Okay, I have my good version, the one I'm keeping, and then I have my donations giver, my one with the D. At this point, because this version of James was entered into donations, I have to mark him inactive here. He doesn't exist in membership. So to mark him inactive, I'm coming up to the top right, and I'm simply checking this inactive checkbox, and this will hide him from this point forward. Okay, so if I hit refresh givers, it's going to reload this screen for me. I'm going to scroll down, and now I just have my one good version of James. Okay, so that's how you clean out those duplicates. That's how you hide them. All right. Next thing we're going to do is move any giving. We're going to make sure that there's no giving on those other duplicates, and if there is, we're going to transfer it over to the good version of James that we're keeping. Okay, so to do that, we're going to close Manage Givers. We're going to come up to the top under Givers, and we're going to click on Transfer Donations. Transfer Donations is a really easy screen to use. You basically pick on the left who you want to take the giving away from, and on the right is the to giver. This is who you want that giving to go to. Okay. You also have date ranges here. Keep in mind, if you have someone who's been involved in the church for a couple years, you might need to adjust this date range back a couple years. I could run it from 2015 through the end of 2018. That would totally be fine. All right. My From Giver box, I'm typing in Kildare, and as you can see, I have 2 Jameses pop up. They're in red because they're terminated, so that's good to know. These people are inactive, so that's helpful. But I'm going to pick James. There's a gift on him. I need to move, a $100 gift. And now I'm going to pick my good James with number 78, who is not in red. And then I'm going to hit Transfer Selected. That's going to reverse the donation off of my duplicate James, and it's going to repost it to my good version of James, and it's going to give me new transaction numbers. So now we see the gift has moved over to the right on the good one. All right, back over to the left. I need to find my other red version of James, my other one I cleaned up, my donations giver. Here it is, 261. I'm going to pick that one. Looks like there's one gift for $25. I need to move that to my James number 78. I'm going to hit transfer. Yes, I'm sure. And here are my new transaction numbers. Okay. Now, keep in mind, if you ever go to search for somebody over here on the From Giver side and they don't come up, it is because there isn't any giving to move in the date range you've specified. Okay, so let me say that again. If you search for someone and you don't find the duplicate or the one that you want to get rid of over here, that means they have no giving to transfer in the date range that you have set. Okay, so if you go to look for them, they're not there, there's no need to move any giving. All right, so giving's on our good version of James, $125. That's exactly what we wanted. We can now close out of transfer donations because all our giving's in the right place now. All right, next piece is going to be the giver numbers. All right, we want to make sure our giver number that we want is on the right version, and we also want to make sure that the duplicate versions of James don't have numbers, because that will free up those numbers so we can then assign them to someone else who might be coming into the church and need a number. Best place to work with numbers is up at the top under Givers and then Manage Numbers. When this screen opens, if you look over here to the top right, it's currently showing us people who have numbers, okay? So their current numbers are going to be listed below. So there's actually 2 numbers for James that we need to delete off the duplicates so we can have them available to somebody else. So in this giver search box, I'm just going to type Kildare, and as we can see here, here's a James with number 13. This is one number that we want to get rid of or delete. Now you have a couple options in this screen. You can assign end dates. So you can end a number for a certain date, so then it's available to start the next day. In my opinion, when you're dealing with duplicates, there's really no need to keep the history of the number on the duplicate, okay? Because the point of this is to clean them up. So in my opinion, I think it's best practice to come over here, hit the minus sign, and just choose to delete the giver number. Okay, so we're just going to delete giver number 13. We don't need any history of when it was on the duplicate because the one we're really worried about is James with number 78. And we know that all the giving is on the correct version of James because we just transferred it. Giving is never attached to the number. It's always attached to the name. So you don't need to worry about deleting a giver number. You're not going to lose any giving history. It's just going to get rid of that number for you. So leave it on delete giver number 13. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to look for James again with 261. I need to get rid of this one as well. Hit the minus sign, delete giver number 261. Okay, so now when we're looking for James, we're just going to have one James with our number 78, which is what we want. Now, if there was a case where the good version of James or the James we're keeping that has all the giving now has the wrong number, you would need to go into this screen, remove the number, and assign him back with the correct one using this add new number feature at the top. Okay? But our version already has the correct number, so he's good to go. The last thing you might want to keep in mind is pledging. I know not all of our customers track pledging in their Church Windows software, but if you do, it's a good idea to come up here into Accounts and Pledges, click on Pledges, and really look into your campaign and make sure when you pull up one of your campaigns or you pull up someone's pledging that the correct version of James is the one that has the pledge on it. Okay, if not, if you see a James in here is not the James with number 78, you would need to follow the line over to the right, hit the minus sign to actually delete the pledge, and then you will need to re-enter the pledge to the correct person. So at this point in time in our program, there is not a transfer pledging feature. You actually have to delete it off of the duplicate and re-enter the pledge to the good one. All right, I know that was a lot, guys, but let me go look at questions. Let me see how Jen's doing over here with questions. All right, if you have any questions about what we covered, please feel free to type those questions in. We'll do our best to get them answered. We have a couple minutes left. If you got the information you needed, you grabbed the PDF of handling donation duplicates that I added here to the webinar, please feel free to sign out. That's totally fine. But if you have questions, type them in. I'm happy to wait for a couple minutes. Someone's asking if they can access this webinar at any time. Catherine, this webinar is definitely recorded. Once we complete the recording, it gets saved, and then one of the guys here actually edits it and cleans it up a little bit and actually cuts this section out, the question section, and then posts it on our website. So check at churchwindows.com next week, and this will be up here with the documented with it as well. On the website, there's a little magnifying glass. If you just type duplicate in there, it should take you right to this page where you can see the video, this recorded webinar, along with the doc. You're welcome. All right, I don't see any questions coming in. I hope that's a good thing. I hope that, oh, there's a question. Okay, so the PDF is actually listed on the GoToWebinar toolbar. It's going to be under the handout section. Pamela, if you just expand that handout section, you can just click on it and download it right from there. Or it's at churchwindows.com, search duplicate. Christy's asking, okay, deleting. That's a good point, Christy. You are not going to be able to delete anyone that has giving on them or had giving on them at one point. So if you have someone who you entered, but there's absolutely no giving on them, the program will allow you to delete them. Now you might have attendance information on them, or you might have your birthday tracked, or something to that effect, a visit or something. So deleting isn't usually something we recommend. We think it's best to go with checking that inactive box, and that way they're hidden. Now if you had someone that had giving and you transferred it off of them, that person can still not be deleted, because during the transfer process there will actually be reversing transaction added to their record. So you cannot delete anyone who has giving or had giving, even if it was 15 years ago. All right, if you're typing, just hit send for me so I don't cut you off, but we are at the 20-minute mark, so I want to close it out so you guys can get back to your day. But I'll give you another couple seconds here if you're typing to send it so I can get you an answer. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and close up shop. I hope you learned something new today that will help make your life a little bit easier. If you're working with duplicates and you have trouble, please call us. Some of them can be a little tricky. Call us on our support line or send an email at support@churchwindows.com, and we will do our best to help you out. Have a great day.